And now to the Finance Act 2023 that is headed to legal or will run into some legal headwinds following a series of petitions that have been filed in court challenging its implementation. The Kenya Human Rights Commission, Katiba Institute, the Institute for Social Justice, Transparency International and four others are the latest to move to court to challenge the act, which they argue violates the Constitution by imposing what they term as retrogressive tax measures, which will burden low-income earners. In their petition, which was filed under a certificate of urgency, the petitioners are seeking conservatory orders to suspend the amendments proposed in the Finance Act, citing that they will have adverse impact on health, lives and livelihoods of Kenyans. Here's Sefin Achieng Oma with the details of this petition.
Barely 10 days after the Finance Act of 2023 received a green light from the Court of Appeal, the legal battle mounted against it is far from over if the series of petitions being presented in court to stop its implementation is anything to go by. The Act, which is considered impetus for President William Ruto's administration to fulfill its promises to Kenyans, has been termed unconstitutional in the petition filed by the Kenya Human Rights Commission, Katiba Institute, the Institute for Social Justice, Transparency International, and four others. The petitioners argue that the Finance Act 2023 violates Article 10 and 201 of the Constitution by imposing retrogressive tax measures which burden low-income earners excessively. According to the petitioner's lawyer, the Act threatens the right to life and livelihood under Articles 26 and 43 of the Constitution.
National Assembly did not listen to the views given during public participation because public participation is meant to influence the outcome of decisions, and the majority of views whether the taxes were exorbitant and would make life unbearable for the majority of Kenyans. And we argue the threat to lives and livelihoods because there are already employers who've said they cannot afford to sustain their employees with the high taxes, so they would have to let people go.
The petitioners further cited an application by the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury versus Okia Omtata, where on 28th of July 2023, the Court of Appeal stated that since the petitions challenge both the entire Act and specific provisions, the court can consider suspending the specific provisions whose implementation has an irreversible effect and cannot be refunded. However, on 4th August 2023, the respondents issued a public notice giving the Housing Fund retrospective effect to 1st July 2023 to the petitioners' further prejudice.
It's as if the government has decided to punish petitioners for trying to question the taxes in court because they do not start from the date when the Court of Appeal lifted the conservatory orders. They go back 2 weeks, 3 weeks earlier than that. And we filed an application. We hope that that application will be given priority.
The petitioners are seeking the suspension of specific provisions whose implementation has an irreversible effect and cannot be refunded.
We've asked questions about the housing fund, obviously. We've asked questions about taxes that increase the cost of living, that have an effect on health. We've seen amendments to touch the malaria diagnostic kits, human vaccines, animal and veterinary medicine. Those are the taxes that we've targeted in our petition.
The petition has been filed under a certificate of urgency, with the petitioners stating that it requires an August recess hearing because of the intervening threat to lives and livelihoods. A 3-judge bench led by Justice David Majanja is expected to sit and give directions on the hearing of the matter. The bench, which also includes Christine Meoli and Lawrence Mugambi, was picked by Chief Justice Martha Koome after Justice Mugure Thande certified that the 9 petitions raised substantial questions of law about the Finance Act. Sefin Achieng Oma, Citizen TV.